Hey y'all, so I'm Dr. Richelle Whittaker, and today we're going to talk about putting your kids in spaces that they may not be ready for. So I've noticed over the last few years that there's a growing trend to put our kids in schools maybe at like the age of 3 or 4, right? Because that's become like a trend. I won't say a trend. The educational system has offered for us to put our kids in elementary school earlier. And while it does have some advantages, meaning like if you're a parent and you work a 7.5-hour day or an 8-hour day and you have a child that's in elementary school, being able to put your 3 or 4-year-old in school as well makes it convenient, makes it easier, puts them in the same environment, makes, drop off and pick up easier. And so, yeah, it makes it easier for parents, right? Because we got all the things. But what I'm seeing happening is these 3-year-olds, not all of them, but some of them aren't ready for that kind of structured setting. And so maybe they're catching on to academic things, maybe they know their letters and their numbers, and maybe some of them can read. And that is great. But what's missing is the social, emotional, or the maturity, the behavior. They're not ready. They're not ready for a 7.5-hour day without being able to take an extended nap. Or maybe they're not ready for, sitting in a desk. And the pre-K 3 classrooms, a lot of times there's like 2 kids at a desk and they're sitting in a desk. I mean, they are moving, but maybe they're not ready for that. Maybe they need more time to do play-based learning. So I know I went to, when I was 3, play-based learning, I think it was called Play Palace. And I don't remember doing, we did a lot of we're touching things, we're moving, we're outside, we're doing all kind of things. But I don't remember really sitting at a desk. Now, to be honest, I don't really remember 3 that well. But I know it at 4, I went to the school in the neighborhood and I went to school for half a day. And I was so excited when I would get picked up early. And so I'm saying that to say that I think sometimes we are putting our kids in spaces, especially boys, that aren't yet ready for those structured settings, and they would benefit from more of a play-based learning kind of environment so that their social, emotional, and maturity can catch up to academics. Because you can have a kid, you can have an adult that's super smart, but their interpersonal skills aren't that great. They're not able to work well with others, a whole host of things. The social, emotional piece is more important than the academic piece. And so I think we kind of, maybe we forget that. But having interpersonal skills, being able to get along with others and knowing how to talk to people, that is important. You can be really smart and not have a job. But those people who are, who have those skills where they can talk to people and know how to interact, more than likely they can always get a job, right? Because they know how to interact with people. So I'm sharing this because I just want us to think about putting our kids, especially our sons, in these structured school settings at the age of 3 before they're ready. They may be academically ready, but they're not ready social, emotionally, or behaviorally, or their maturity may not be there. And they may need that unstructured setting where there's a lot more love and they're being loved on. They're not required to sit in a desk. And I say 3, maybe 4, and maybe they need a half day instead of a whole day, because that's a long time. Developmentally at 3, a kid is still having tantrums. They're still learning. They're still figuring things out. And so that's a long time. So yes, I have sons. And so yes, my oldest son did pre-K 3 and pre-K 4. And he was in a private school. They did have play-based learning, but they were sitting in desks, right? My younger son did pre-K 3, and I want to say it was probably more play-based. His teacher was very engaging. They said all kinds of things, and so he wasn't sitting at a desk all day. But when he turned 4, for a number of reasons, which I'm not going to get into today, I took him out of that school and put him in it was an early childhood center for just 4-year-olds. And it was more play-based learning. And I think for him, that was a better environment. I think he was able to, just kind of grow and explore. School got out at 2:30. I think they had rest time from 12 to 1 or something like that. But their day was pretty, it wasn't as rigorous as a traditional school setting. And so I'm saying that to say, no 2 kids are the same. But a lot of the behavioral issues that I see with 3 and 4-year-old boys is because they're not ready for that structured setting. And yeah, they're smart. They know a lot, but all of that kind of goes out the window because they can't sit in their seat, because they're hitting other kids, because they're kicking and all the other things. And so the other thing to think about is you don't want your son to make a negative association with school at 3 or 4, right? Because he's got a long way to go. And that's what I tend to see happening. So then, you know, they're in school at 3 or 4, they're getting in trouble. Then they're like, I don't want to come to school anymore. I hate school. And then that sets in, and so now we got a kindergartner, a first grader, a second grader who's saying, I hate school, I don't want to be here. So I just want us to think about, you know, what's the best environment for my son right now? He can be smart, you can supplement at home, but you cannot make up for maturity. You can't make up that social emotional piece. So, you know, if your son is still immature, if he's still, you know, struggling behaviorally, think about leaving him in a play-based setting. And the play-based setting could be structured, but not school structured, right? And so, you know, consider that. If you have questions, or if you're like, you know what, I really don't know, contact me. I'll put a link down at the bottom for a consultation. Yes, it does cost. And so we can talk about this. We can talk about what makes the most sense for your son, what you're seeing, and how to determine if that's even a good idea. All right, until next time.